Good afternoon, wonderful women of Compass and anybody else who is on this call as part of Datna Group's session on loving what you do. Can see some familiar faces there, so thank you to, I won't shout you all out, but I can see you, so thank you to those that are here. And thank you to Sarah for facilitating the setup and working with you all to ensure you can be here today. And I can see a few there that are waving. So thank you to all you. I'd like to start the session firstly to introduce myself for anybody who doesn't know me. I'm Michelle Crouch, Director, Business Partner at Datna Group, and head up the coaching and lead the Compass program. So to begin with, on behalf of Datna Group, I would like to acknowledge, and we acknowledge, First Nations people, both here in Australia and for anyone else who's joining around the world. We thank First Nations for the teaching, caring, learning, leadership and culture, and we pay our deepest respects to the wisdom of these Indigenous people and pay respect to past, present and emerging leaders. I am joined today by Cathy Neasmith. Hands up if during the course of your Compass journey you have had the great pleasure of working with Cathy. Does anybody know who Cathy is? Hands up if you have any idea who Cathy Neasmith is. Anybody? No. Okay. I'm going to leave the formal part of Cathy to Cathy when she introduces herself, but I just want to personally say I've had the great pleasure of working with Cathy over the past, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years, 2 years. There she's 2 years. It feels like 5. I feel like I've known Cathy forever. She's the most amazing, wonderful human who has a deep passion for bringing out the best in people using positive psychology and the many scientific evidence research that sits behind that. She's coached many women from our Compass program as well as Datna Group as a whole. And as I said, I'm going to leave Cathy to introduce herself as well as run this session. So sit back, enjoy, have your notebooks handy to capture any questions that you have for Cathy along the way. It is an interactive session, so be ready to contribute via breakout rooms, whiteboards, polls, whatever else Cathy has in store for you. And yeah, enjoy. Sit back, get yourself comfy. If you're not, do it now. Get yourself a cuppa, tea, have it, whatever you need. And I'm going to hand to Cathy. Thanks, Cathy.
Hi, Shell. Thank you so much for that really beautiful, warm introduction. It does feel like I've been with DG for much longer than 2 years. And that's because the relationships that I've been able to develop with the DG staff are so rich and so fulfilling. And after many, many years in working in corporate, our placement in career strategy management and leadership, I really feel that DG is a place that feels home to me. Not only from that cognitive perspective, dealing and working with really intelligent, bright, curious women, but also from a heart space. And I feel that my mantra when I'm working with people, particularly around their careers, which is that we are human beings first of all, rather than working beings. I really see that this really comes to life in the work that DG do. So it's really delightful to be able to spend this Lunch and Learn series with you and get you in the driver's seat of being more intentional about where you are in relation to your work from that heart perspective. We're going to do some cognitive work too, but as the workshop is all about I love my work, how can it be anything but really tapping into your humanity of work and really thinking about what it is that you wanted to create, not only thinking about the end of 2023, but as we step over the timeline into 2024 and being intentional about what you want to experience, what you want to create, and what you want to contribute. Big questions, and we don't have to answer them now, but perhaps if you're going bushwalking, if you are sitting on a beach somewhere or sailing or hiking or whatever it is that you do in order to have that much needed break at the end of the year, hopefully some of the work that we will do today will resonate with you and help to provide some direction in order to have that more fulfilling sense of a work that I love. Okay, so let me just share my screen now. So welcome to I Love My Work. And this is all about developing a better relationship with your work through awareness and intention. So with awareness and intention, I invite you now to really ground and center your focus and your energy by placing one of your hands on your lower belly where the diaphragm sits. And I'd take you, give you an opportunity just to exhale deeply. So we always start with an exhale. And then gently inhale for 4. And exhale for 4. Gently closing your eyes, bringing you into this centered space, letting go of any thoughts. Anything else this time is just here for you now. And breathing in again deeply. And breathing out. Letting the calm and center come into this space. And breathing in, the last breath. And breathing out, coming back into the room. Hopefully that's just given you a small opportunity to have a break with all the noise and all the busyness that you did before you came onto the screen, to really focus your attention here, to give yourself the love and the care that you deserve to support your well-being as a human being, not just a working being. So let's do a quick check-in before we continue. Hand on heart, I'd like you to be able to answer this question as honestly as you can. I want you to raise your hand. So how many of you here can honestly say that they really, really love their work? Just pop your hand up now so we can do a bit of a check. I really, really love my work, hand on heart. Okay, so we can see a few hands there. Right. Actually, probably about a third of people really, really love their work. So we might even be able to get some insights from some of you as we go along about how you've been able to create this incredible space. Now I'd like you to raise your hand, put your hand up, if you'd really, really love to strengthen the relationship that you have with your work. Who here is interested in doing that today? Oh, look at that. Most hands are up now. That's better, isn't it? So about a third of us really love their work already. And I'd say close to 100% of us would really love to increase that relationship that they have with their work. And so in that way, we're going to frame our work as if it is a relationship rather than the cognitive job description, job title, tasks that I have to do. And we're going to look at it as a different perspective. And that perspective is going to allow us to have a different intention and awareness about how we're relating to that work. Just to get a check-in on, well, is it satisfying for me? So for the 2/3 of people that didn't put their hand up, this is an opportunity for you to be able to step into that space more fully. So once again, I'll just share my screen. So when it comes to our working life, we know that our working lives come in really different shapes and sizes. So if you look at everyone on the screen, rather like us, we all come in different shapes and sizes. And some of our work life has been very, very carefully curated, very thoughtfully put together, strategized, planned and executed, whilst others have been kind of like the only equivalent of a windsurfer. And they've just gone from one to one to one and scooted along. There's no right or wrong way to do work. But if you're more intentional about where you are now and also where you want to go, it can be a real game changer about having a more rich and fulfilled work life, despite the obvious challenges and struggles that we all face in our lives. So sometimes our jobs are called careers, portfolios, contracting, consulting, mentoring, and volunteering. But we know at the end of the day, it involves how we engage our lives that provide us with a living or an engagement, an expression of ourselves in the world of work. So if we take the perspective that we can strengthen and build your work life in a way that is based on a relationship, I just want you to take a moment to think about you and your work as if that is a relationship, as if your work is a person. And what is the qualities that that relationship holds? Is it encouraging? Is it taxing? Is it life-inducing? Is it calming? Or is it a combination of those things? It's consuming, but it's also nurturing, because we know that these dichotomies can exist together. So I welcome you to put into the chat box, what are the qualities that you currently have with the relationship with your work? And I'd also like to invite you to give your work or your career a name. Okay, so if it was a personal name, it's a personal relationship. Who is your career? What's their name? And what's the quality that makes up that relationship? Now, I'd like to, as way of an example, invite our lovely Sarah to explain a little bit more about, or give an example about her work life. What are the qualities of your relationship, Sarah, and what would your career be called?
Sure. So I suppose my work life is very inspiring. I mean, I get to put together events like this for a beautiful community of women and work more broadly with, all of the clients at Datner Group. So I find it really inspiring. I'm really energized by the work that I do. I'm in a really supportive work environment. There can be times of stress and periods of high workload, but I think overwhelmingly there's a lot of joy and inspiration that comes from my work. And so when I think about the qualities that are embodied in my work life, and if I had to personify it and give it a name, I would call it Joyce. That just sounds like a really lovely, uplifting, happy name to me. So that's sort of what I would title my work life. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on the call and there's other Datner Group people here. That is genuinely how I feel.
Lovely. Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Joyce. So now I'd like to invite you to pop into the chat box. What are the qualities of your work and your relationship with your work, and who is your work? What's their name? Just pop them into the box now. We've got a Jeff, okay. Challenging, I guess. I don't know why, but that was the first name that popped into your head. Challenging, relentless, and energizing. We have a Bruce, and Bruce is consuming and challenging as well. We have a couple of Joys there. We have consuming, tiresome, challenging, and inspiring. Helen sees her work as relentless, challenging, consuming, but also nurturing and inspiring at times. Challenging. Sounds like our jobs are middle-aged white guys. Challenging, inspiring, supportive, relentless, tireless, challenging. Ruth after Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Nice. Barry, consuming and taxing. Oh dear, who wants to be in a relationship with Barry? Just 1 minute more. Oh, we've got relentless, challenging. Its name is May. In the words of Madonna, it's more than a name, it's an attitude. I love that. Oh, we've got a Beyonce, inspiring, challenging, exciting, and a Frank. Frank is fearless, and fearless is the goal. Consuming, challenging, and inspiring. Fred. Miss A, challenging and supportive. Dynamic, fun. Fun Freddie. I love that. Relentless, damaging, Tyson. Okay, so thank you for all those that have contributed in there. And what this is doing, it is allowing us to really step back and develop an awareness about, well, what is my relationship like with my work? And as I move towards the end of 2023 and 2024, do I want to take Fred? Do I want to take Barry? Or do I want to take Joy with me into 2024? And so with awareness and attention, it allows us to start tapping into not only the qualities and the nature of that work, but also what is understanding what is within our control within those behaviours as well. So I'm now going to share with you some thought-provoking statements, and they can be assessed to better understand your relationship with your career. And all of these statements are actually within your control. So that's why I've included these here. So we're just going to have a slightly deeper dive from an awareness perspective about what that looks like. So if you and your work represents a personal relationship, these statements are examples of behaviours that develop when our relationship lacks thought and when it lacks attention. So none of these behaviours that we're now going to be looking at will really help the relationship flourish. So have a look to see which one of these are you're familiar with. Have you been ignoring your career journey or your career planning? Have you been afraid of losing your role recently? Have you tried to hold on to your role when it's no longer satisfying or damaging, which is a Barry? Have you avoid making career decisions and remaining stuck in a place of powerlessness? Have you obsessing about what's not right in your role rather than what is and building it from that perspective? Have you been using your role as a measure of your personal value alone? Have you not been understanding how your role really aligns with your values and your purpose, but also really connecting in with those? You've been unaware of the behaviours at work, and also what's the wider impact of those? Have you lost sight of the bigger picture? You lacked insight as to your value add and how you support others or how they benefit from working with you. And as many people face at different times in their working life, not really knowing what to do with their career or not really knowing what to do when they grow up. So as I mentioned before, these statements are the behaviours that without intention start to show up when we don't really give it that attention and that time that we need to reflect about who is that significant other that we want as a critical part of our lives. So I'd now invite you to undertake a poll, and I'm going to hand you over to Sarah to manage this one. I'd like you to choose your top 2 statements in relation to which of these really ring true for you right now. We're just going to do a pulse check as a group about which of these themes are really present for the group. So if you'd just like to choose 2, and we'll see where the group sits. Okay, so let's now have a look to see. Still a number of people popping theirs in, so just another minute.
We might just give it 30 more seconds. We've got 85% of people that have participated. I know that some people have said they're in transit, so we don't want them to touch their phones. They might just be listening in. So I'll end the poll now, and that was 85% of, this is the result from 85% of us on the call. Can everybody see that? Is that visible to everybody? Great.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Sarah. So we can see our top themes that are coming up with the group there is not knowing what to do with your career. And I guess that's part of the reason about why we exist here at Datner Group, is because we are here to support you in gaining clarity with your decision making about how do you move from a Barry and a Bruce to a Beyonce. And is this something that you would really like to invest in 2024? Because we'd certainly love to help you with that. The second highest theme that we can see here is a 26, sorry. A 32. Using your role as a measure of your personal value. How interesting is that? So what else is going on if we are human beings, not working beings? Where's that part coming into play? Once again, there's no right or wrong about this. It's just an awareness that the group is telling us that you don't necessarily really know what to do with your career. And also, if you don't know what to do with your career, what impact is that having on you if you are creating your value around that? That means you don't know your value. So we can start to see why only 1/3 of people actually put their hand up when we started to talk about I love my work, because there's a lot of lacking of clarity around that there. So thank you so much for everyone participating in that piece. So with intention, now we're going to focus a little bit more on how to gain clarity and how to gain awareness, and then how to move to right action. So the way that we develop our conscious relationship is being more intentional, reflective, as we move to that action. So it calls you to be more in touch with yourself, your relationship, and your working environment. So we're now going to do another short exercise, which is going to help you to do that. So that one there, we're going to be looking at, this next exercise that's coming up is about stepping into our place of responsibility. Responsibility is a really interesting word. It is your ability to respond rather than to react. So once again, it's about not only developing awareness, but it's about developing consciousness that moves us towards right action. So being intentional in any relationship means you don't take it for granted and you treat it with respect and care. We know that we are the ones that are in the driver's seat, that we're responsible for navigating challenges and improving it. And we know that you nurture your relationship, when we nurture our relationship itself, both you and Beyonce, both partners support each other to improve that connection and that outcome. And this takes honesty and exploration. And that's why this is difficult work, but it's also incredibly rewarding work. And last but not least, a more vital work grows with time and listening. So taking those into account, we're now going to undertake, Sarah's going to share with us a whiteboard that will look like this. So here we will have our level of intention and awareness, and this is on the continuum. Here is high level and here is low level. And I want you to reflect on your career today, early in your career, mid-career, and then currently. And what I'll get you to do is each of you to click on a text or a symbol or whatever that is just for you and plot it early in your career, mid-career, and then currently. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, so plot away, people. Well, there's a lot of activity there. Well, this looks very interesting.
Love this. I love that people have come out with the lines. It's so good, so different to what we anticipated, but it's great. I love it.
I feel like I'm in Santa's workshop or something. There's a lot
Well,
of
it's the time
strategic
of year for it.
activity.
Megan has just entered the session. So Cathy, you might want to explain to Megan what we're doing, because she might be a little bit confused by what's going on.
Megan, you will definitely be confused, so please don't beat yourself up about that. This workshop is all about I love my work, which is about developing a heartfelt relationship with your work. We know that we can't do that without attention and awareness. We're using this exercise in order to reflect on your working life to date. Where has your level of attention and awareness been? Has it been low levels in your early, mid, and current career, or have you had high levels, or has it been a combination of both of those? So we can start to map out that everybody's journey is different. And that's perfectly okay. But we know the game changer happens when you're intentional and understand where you are now and what you want to shape, experience, create, and contribute in 2024. We also, up to date, we've given our jobs names as well, our work-life names, and there have been things from Barry and Bruce all the way to Beyonce or Fantastic Freds and things like this. So once again, this is just a fun way, a different perspective to help us step into the relationship with our work rather than just seeing our work lives as being job titles and job descriptions. Okay, so just one more minute with that. Very good. All right. So the ones that I can see most clearly is this one here, star, star, star. So in this person's career, they had a very high level of intention and awareness, and then it kind of started to drop off here. And then currently there has been a very low level of intention and awareness because of all different challenges that person's facing. The purple with the mauve star, would you like to share with us why you have plotted yours in those spaces? Feel welcome to unmute yourself and yeah, just give us some insight about why you've plotted yours where they are.
Hi, I'm Nina. Basically, I recently had a career change. So it's coming out of high school, as I always knew or thought I know what I wanted to do. So it's I'm a scientist. So I was studying to become a scientist, did my PhD, did a few postdocs. And so I knew exactly where my intentions were going. I was very aware that it would be hard. Then the further I went in my career, the more I realized actually I have no idea. And then recently changing completely into a different field. So I'm now in the private sector, and I honestly have no idea where I'm going or what is actually happening, to be honest. So yeah.
And Nina, thank you so much for sharing and also being so honest about that. So with that awareness, then we can start to think about, so what do I want to do about that? In relation to what it is you want to create in this one precious life that you have. You know, what do you want to experience in 2024 in relation to what you want to experience, what you want to create, and what you want to contribute? This isn't an exercise to beat ourselves up, and we're not perfectionists, so we're not aiming for perfection. We're just aiming for an opportunity to step into a space of a work that we love, because we know how powerful that is in supporting and protecting our own well-being, as well as creating some incredible, impactful work, not only in our organisations, but more widely. There's one more I can see here. I feel like I'm looking at Where's Wally. I can see a star here. So this one starts with low, and then it starts to rise, and then it gets even higher here. The person who plotted that would love for you to be able to share with the group why you plotted that increasing level of intention and awareness, and what impact that has had on your relationship with your work.
I think that's me. Was it the cross that you can see?
Kate, it is, yeah.
Yes. I think, like, I guess for me, I have had a lot of sort of kind of flatlining in my career where I just didn't really have a lot of direction. So it kind of really gradually sort of moved up from low to mid-career. And it's really only recently that I've had a role or stepped into a role where I can develop and sort of choose my path a little bit and have a little bit of autonomy and a bit of, I guess, a bit of say in where I'm going with my progression. So I've definitely reached a place where I feel like I'm getting to that point where I know exactly what I want to do, but I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah. How does that feel, Kate, stepping into that space?
Oh, it feels amazing. Like I think I've had a lot of previous roles where my employees just haven't really had any interest in my progression, but my current employers do, which has been really, really valuable to me.
Amazing. And out of interest, Kate, what was the name of your career?
I work for an underwear company. So I work in, I guess I've worked in the fashion industry / garment industry for probably 15 years, 16 years. And I'm currently at an underwear company. Yeah.
Beautiful. And what did you call your career? What personal name did you give your job?
Oh, I didn't actually do it. I couldn't think of one. I'm not sure, to be honest.
I always think of like a powerful woman in that space. I'm thinking like Elle Macpherson or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Good one.
Thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for putting that up there, and thank you so much, everybody, for creating this magnificent diagram. I feel like I should get a snapshot of that as a way of going, accompanying our workshop here today. So if you could close that screen now, Sarah. So once again, thank you so much. Once again, another exercise to help us develop our awareness around that. So what we're going to do now is think about moving towards action. Well, what does a considerate career look like with your work? And so I'm going to come up with a number of statements. If you have a pen and paper at hand, this is an opportunity for you just to take a note. There might be an insight, there might be some evidence that you apply in relation to each of these areas. But we know with this more considered relationship, we have the opportunity, just as Kate said, to think it's amazing. And don't we all want to step into that space a little more than what we currently are? So I'll just share once again the screen with you now. So as I mentioned, what might a considerate relationship with your career look like? Feel welcome to make a note against each area. So a considered career means that you are engaging in a constructive way. So for those of you being a part of the Compass alumni, think about your blue behaviours. How have you been engaging in your blue behaviours in relation to your work recently? Just make a note of that. How are you appreciating it or recognising it? If you are in a role where you aren't being recognised, as Kate demonstrated there before, how are you celebrating your own successes? How are you creating opportunities to have wins for yourself and your work life? How are you expressing your purpose and talents through it? Is that something has gotten lost in the busyness of your work, particularly as we come to the end of the year? Or are you still consciously aware, not only of your why, but also your knowledge and your skills, but your personal characteristics as well, your courage, your kindness, your curiosity? How are you taking responsibility? We saw in the poll there wasn't necessarily a lot of responsibility going on there, but there may be in some parts of it. So in what ways are you creating opportunities to be able to respond rather than react, moving away from your red and green LSI behaviours and once again moving towards your blue behaviours? When did you last have fun at work? When did you share a joke? When did you really enjoy being in the space in your workplace? When did you last recognise how important it is of being of service to others? How have you connected this more widely with what it is that you're contributing? When was the last time you really congratulated yourself? You valued yourself and others for what it is that you are building? So who's creating opportunities for themselves? Not just one, we're talking about an abundance of choice. What are the pathways about where you are now and what it is that you would like to be working toward? And who's got a clear strategy for managing it? We know that awareness is one thing, but also that planning and the implementation is an important part of having that more satisfying and fulfilling work life. So what I want to do now, just with that quick summary, is then to start thinking about these three key questions. So with the work there, so what you've already answered, but also thinking about where you placed your symbols on the map. There's three key things I'd like you to pop down, and you're going to have 10 minutes to go into a room with one other person. Please only share what you feel welcome. Some of this is very sensitive and with confidence and with courage. We want to have a conversation. Remember, being not only aware, but also stepping into that place of courage allows us to move that relationship in a way that's purposeful for us. So three things I'd like you to think about. We've got some data and we've got some information. And now I want you to reflect and share with your partner, how would you describe the current relationship you have with your career? So what is and isn't working for you? This doesn't have to be a litany. It might just be one or two key things. And then most importantly, what is one behaviour that you are now willing today to let go of? And what is one behaviour that today you are going to grow? So Sarah very shortly will put you into pairs. It will be for 10 minutes. And I'd like you to share with your partner your current relationship, what is and isn't working, one behaviour to let go of and one behaviour to grow. So what's one small, simple action that you can look at doing today?
Has everyone, can everybody see that they need to go to a breakout room? I've not done this before, so I'm hoping.
I think that these people are actually
There are some people that haven't joined, so you might have to put some people in with others, Sarah. So like in room 14, Lydia M, you can move her to a room where there isn't someone. So Arti, Suri.
Okay. There was a couple of people that did mention in the chat that they didn't want to
join. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So
they were driving or
Yeah.
On our own, and so's Artie, but we could put them together. Do you want me to do this for you, Sarah? Or you?
Yeah, that would be great, actually. Thank you.
So hopefully that little shot gave you an opportunity for a little bit of reflection to digest some of what we've been talking and the perspective taking that we've had today. One of the most powerful things actually you can do is to have a productive career conversation. So whether it's a stranger and someone you don't know, or whether it's someone within your team, hopefully this might be one of the actions that you might want to take forward from here. Just curious to hear anyone who would like to share. We don't have a lot of time left, but what was one of the most inspiring or interesting things you and your partner discussed? Feel welcome to unmute and share with the group. What was that for you?
Since no one's talking, I might just talk again, just because I don't like awkward silences. So I talked with Carolyn, and I thought it was really inspiring to talk to someone who also took a big step of a career change or is about to. And yeah, just openly talking about it. I think that was really nice. Also nice to hear that someone else wasn't really fulfilled with their job and took it as a priority to look after themselves, which I think was really inspiring.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nina, and thank you for sharing that conversation with Carolyn. That's the most important thing, is that you're not alone. And if with awareness you are struggling with this, you know, this is why, part of the reason why we exist here as well. We want to set up communities. We want to set up reflective practices and information and support. So you don't sit in a place of struggle and sit there alone, because we know that you have no agency in that place. And we know that all of the women who particularly come through on Compass and beyond deserve that opportunity to really meet your potential, whatever that is for you. So apart from what you've discussed with your partner, there are some other specific actions that you can take as well in relation to creating that more fulfilling work life. As I mentioned before, initiating that productive career conversation can be a real game changer. So with that confidentiality and that different perspective taking, you know, we could even hear Nina, you know, the difference that made into to her life here, and hopefully being able to take that and then to be able to use that will really help her to shape what 2024 looks like for her. Joining a networking or reflective practice group is also very powerful. Using your strengths, reframing your perspectives, as you know from Compass, is a real game changer, as being able to step into your place of agency. Connecting with your values to drive your planning and action, and actually to get a plan, is a really good idea as well. Engage in something new and different. So who wants to go surfing over summer? Who wants to go skiing? Who wants to try pottery? You know, once again, we're the human beings. So how can we get those jolts of joy into our lives, into our bodies, that will have that osmosis effect more widely in our lives as well? Making sure that you're taking time to self-care and nurture is such a critical part, because we can't save the planet until we save ourselves first. I know that many people that I work with are so invested in fixing things outside of themselves that sometimes we override, or often override, the importance of creating that sense of centeredness and well-being for yourself. We're also really excited to let you know that we've got some new workshops that and individual coaching that we've been working on. DG Wellbeing, which is specifically looking at wellbeing practices and strategies for those that really need a boost in that area. People that are wellbeing champions within their organisations or families and communities, as well as DG Career Compass, which really strengthens the knowledge and the information for those people that have been a part of Compass that want to look at specific career strategies and support around what it is that they want to create. Who wants free stuff? So I'm going to stop sharing the screen there now. Just pop your hand up if you'd like some free stuff. So really, really happy to give you an early Christmas present, DG women. These two pieces of work that we have here are called activations. So the work that you have done previously within Compass, identifying your strengths, identifying your values. We know that leadership is a practice. These activations are kind of like you pass to the gym. You plug them into your earphones, download it off SoundCloud, and you can listen into it. You can put your head into that right space in order to create agency about what do I want to contribute, what do I want to experience, what do I want to really grow in 2024. These activations will help you do that. Sarah will be able to share those with you at the end of our sessions there. And we really hope that they can support you into that place of action. So those are those two ones there. And last but not least, despite everything that we've been told, confidence is not something that comes when you achieve certain goals, look a certain way, or gain popularity and acclaim. It's something that you build within you, and it happens one action at a time. So the challenge for you today is, what will be the action that you take to move towards the work that you love? And in 2 weeks' time, which is Wednesday, the 6th of December, we'd love for you to email us here at Datton Group and share one specific action that you've taken towards a better relationship with your work that allows you to wholeheartedly say that you are moving towards the work that you love. So over to you, Shell.
Well, firstly, big round of applause. Thank you, Cathy. It's always, this is a universal sign of saying thank you. You can use your little clap thing as well. I'd love to hear from you all in the chat so that we do hear from everyone. What are you thinking and feeling after this session? So thinking is thoughts on the session. How's it left you feeling? So let's hear from you in the chat. 2 words minimum, can be a sentence. We love to hear from you all. What are you thinking as a result of this session? And what's it generated in feelings for you? Those driving, we know you can't put in chat, but everyone else, if you could just pop in, looking forward to taking positive steps. Great idea to focus, get you out of my head, back into opportunity. So many there. Great. Focused. See you next time too. Motivated. Well, Cathy, it looks like you've generated some positive feelings in others, which is wonderful to read. That's our aim, to have you leave feeling better than when you started. Stay tuned. Sarah will be in touch. Is that right, Sarah? Is there anything else you've got to add around the timeline from today?
No, thank you all for coming. There will be, as with all of our lunchtime leadership sessions, there'll be some post-event comms that will have the replay in case there's anything that you want to go back and review. It will also have ways that you can build upon today's session and continue to work with us and explore, and also those free resources that Cathy mentioned earlier. So thank you all. I thought it was such a fantastic session, and I hope it looks like from the chat that you all got something out of it. So that's brilliant. And if I don't see any of you again before the festive period, I can't believe it's only 5 weeks until Christmas. Have a really wonderful, restful and rejuvenating festive period. And so I'll leave you with the final comments to close, Shell and Cathy.
Yeah. Well, ditto what you just said, Sarah. I know some of you are in touch with me, so feel free to keep up that communication. You know where we are, you know where I am, and you can reach out to Cathy via us as well. So we'll make sure that the lines of communication are open. Cathy, how was it?
I loved it. This was my first Lunch and Learn. So it couldn't have happened without Sarah's wonderful support there as well, and also without your very generous sharing. So thank you for showing up, and thank you for so generously contributing. And I hope to work with you next year at some stage. Have a wonderful Christmas, early Christmas. Enjoy your early Christmas presents too, okay?
Thanks, everyone. See you online again soon, maybe 2024. Before.